project I'm working on now. I've always planned on adding a lean-to on the side of my tractor shed. What I've started to do, it's kind of on a pretty good slope, maybe, I don't know, maybe 1.5 foot difference. So what I'm starting to do, I rough laid out where the posts were going to be. I'm just going to have 2 posts, and it's only going to be 8 foot long, 10. So I think I'm going to go with 2x4s. And I cut out these big rocks, and then I dug out and leveled out a spot, and I put the rocks in place. There's still a little more fine-tuning to get them perfectly level, but what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to make some brackets to mount the posts on, and then once I get the post all in, I'll put the beam across. And once I got the beam across and leveled, I'll start putting the rafters up. I settled on 81 inches to the center, which will give me right at about 7 feet to the outside of the beam. That way it'll be easier to calculate. So I'm gonna mark it and then drill it, and then I'll be ready to level the post or the base. Here's my setup for marking the center of the other end of the building. This is the ground slopes off here, so it's a little harder. So what I did was I set up my square, as I did on the other side. Got it level against the building and parallel on that leg, and then level on the long axis. And then I used the board to prop it up. And then at the mark, I dropped a plumb bob to get down and mark the center of the hole. So I should be able to move the setup. As long as I don't move the bracket, then I can mark the center. Then I'll be ready to start drilling. It's the end of the day. It's an exciting day. But I got the one post up. Might be a little bit tall. Anyway, I'll zoom you in a little. There's my bracket. Right now, I got 4 5/16 lag screws on each side. And then I have in the middle there, I have a clearance for a 1/2 inch. I think I'm just gonna do a lag bolt from each side towards the middle. So I won't have to try to drill straight all the way through. But anyway, you see it's resting on those little pads, so it's sitting right out at the bottom. I was really close to my 7 foot mark. I missed it by about 1/4 inch. So I'm happy with that. And then all the wedge anchors are in. There's the 4 on the outside, and then there's 1 in the middle. I'll show you that. So right now it's plumb both directions, and it's braced, and it's actually pretty solid. So I'm not going to worry about another brace for now. This is the other bracket. So what I did was I got my footer rocks as level as I could, and then I laid out for my post, and I worked off the center line, and then I drilled the center, and then I took it off, and I got a grinder out and leveled the pad, so the brackets were really as close as they could be to level by hand anyway. And then when I was done with that, I put my square up against the building, which I don't have, but it squared it because I wanted to. I wanted to get the posts up one time. So I used my square to make sure the edge of the bracket was square to the building, and from the building to this far edge. It's supposed to be 7 feet. So that's where on that one I was off about 1/4 inch, actually measuring the post. It gives me a little room to move in. So if the weather's decent tomorrow, I'll be working on it again. Here I am from my front porch looking at the post I just put up. That 6x6, I think it's overkill. Anyway, them things are heavy. I could barely lift that thing by myself. So I'm lucky I got it in without knocking over something or breaking something. Anyway, it's coming along pretty good so far. All right, things are going quite well. I put a board at the bottom of the fascia that's going to be my mounting board for my trusses. And then on the inside of this post, it was 5 feet. So I came down 5 inches from level, and then I came down 6 inches more for my beam. And then I put my water level on the Ranger, filled it up, got all the bubbles out, and then this one, sitting down on the pier rock, I made a mark at level, and that's that mark to the left of the red liquid in the tube. And then at the top of the post, I marked a line up there. So in theory, all I have to do now is transfer. All right, there's my level mark from the other post spot base. And up there, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a line scribed, black line. That, in theory, should be level to the top of that. So what I'm going to do before I bring a saw to this one is I'm going to take this off, double check it to that, and last but not least, I'll get a piece of string out with a line level and go by the theory, trust but verify. Alrighty, that's enough for today. Alright, I'm up on a ladder, so it's a little shaky, and I hope you can see that this yellow line is right on the pencil line square that I set up with the water level. I'm going to climb down the ladder. I'll move the ladder over to where the line level is. Set the ladder back up. Climbing up. And I don't know, but I would say that is pretty dang close. So that proves to me that the water level idea, the way I did it and showed you before, is dead nuts. Really good. So now I can take the line down and I can saw my post off at the top. The beam. We got it up with the help of the tractor, sledging. Everything stayed pretty well in place. Right now, I'm going to put a steel piece on the front to hold it all together on both ends, and then I'll make a 45 gusset brace on the two inside corners of the beam and the post.